Well, we're still staying on the issue, and joining me here in the studio in Lagos to share the NECA perspective, I could say, is the Director General of Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, Mr. Dewale Smatoyerinde. Thank you so much. I know you've heard from the CEO of NBS to Mr. Salifu there. Absolutely. The issue of methodology. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to understand and grasp in my mind when we say unemployment in Nigeria this time is about 4%, you know, and youth unemployment is about 18%. You guys are the employers. Do you have this much Nigerians? You have about how many percent of Nigerians? About 76% of Nigerians employed, not just, of course, in the brick and mortar, but also in the informal sector.
Well, I think the first thing we have to look at is the context. You know, it's all contextual issues now. And if you don't have a grasp of the context, then you will contend with the outcome, you know. The new methodology has expanded the scope of what work is, and for most of us, we're still stuck a bit with the traditional perspective of work. So if you don't divorce your mind from that perspective of work, what work is, and you are confronted with the reality of this new methodology, then you have problems understanding the NBS position. Now, does the data, does it explain the reality? Probably not. But the data basically gives us something to work with. You know, it gives us an avenue, it gives us a platform for advocacy, it gives us a platform to review, it gives us a platform to understand the risk that we face and probably the opportunities inherent in our system. But fundamentally, as one of your guests have said also, best practice, best benchmarks, global benchmarks, they are beautiful, they create opportunity for comparison. But we have also advocated that, look, beyond best practice, we should also progressively start looking at the issue of best fit. You know, yes, we have the global data, then how exactly can we interpret this data within the context of our reality? Our major worry is this, and we hope government will play its role, and the new ministers will play their role in making the best use of this data. It's weaponizing those data. It depends on where you are looking at it from. Data is just like law. Let's say law is an has. You know, if somebody should murder somebody, if you have a good lawyer, you can go away with manslaughter. So you can take a data and, depending on your perspective, weaponize data and start creating confusion with it. But for us, it's going back to the data released, doing a thorough analysis of those parameters again, and communicating the realities to government. And look, yes, this is the new data, but does it mean that the economy has come out of the doldrums? We don't think so. Does it mean organized businesses are now doing well and we're employing, as it were? Absolutely not.
So at least the minister has something to start with.
They have something to start with, basically.
Yeah, where would you think, or where would you suggest the Minister of Employment at this time, and of course other ministers, but let's start from, this is the matter at hand now. Where should he start from?
Well, for the Minister of Employment, first we congratulate His Excellency for the appointment. We believe he must have hit the ground running with briefings and reading handover notes. But for us, 3 or 4 things are quite germane that he has to address, and we have to address quickly. We have the reviewed labor law that was approved by FEC, the last FEC. It's still probably with the Ministry of Justice. And then we have to expedite action on the labor law, because it's basically the foundation for relationship in the context of those of us in the employment space. Also, we have to look at the issue of strengthening labor administration institutions, because I think that there is a major challenge in those institutions, and the need for stakeholders, social partners, to also give due respect to those institutions. And I mean the National Industrial Court, the Industrial Arbitration Panel, and all institutions that are created to guide labor administration. Also for us is the reform of the industrial relations system. You know, I think conflicts are inherent in the system itself, but conflicts are basically meant to promote or stir up growth on the long run. But when conflict becomes destructive, then it creates a change in dynamics for you, not only for the economy, it changes dynamics even for the workplace. And we feel there is need for us to take a thorough look at the context and the content of our industrial relations system. We know the policy, industrial relations policy for Nigeria is under review, And we will also urge an expedited action so that we review, we validate, and then we adopt. Not leaving out the critical issue of social dialogue. We have to strengthen social dialogue amongst the social partners and also take a critical look at the data that we have now from the LBS concerning employment generation and job security.
And of course, the sensitive issue of minimum wage, did you mention that?
Yeah, for minimum wage, we believe the best the minister can do is constitute the committee, start the process of constituting the committee, following the ILO convention at the 130 on fixing of minimum wage. Once that is done, we've done it twice. Minimum wage committee that came up with the 18,000, then a minimum wage committee that came up with the 30,000. So there's a framework, and it's just for the minister to initiate that process, get the committee to be set up, and then we start working towards a new minimum wage in 2024.
A lot of work for the Minister of Employment, and we do wish him the very best, and of course working in consonance with related
NECA.
industry,
Absolutely,
NECA, and all of that. Thank you for your time this morning.
Anytime.